Hello internet friends! Today we are talking about 90s minimalism. Now this video was so kindly suggested to me because I do talk a lot about 90s minimalism in itself as a fashion statement. However, I haven't really gone in depth on how to achieve and accomplish the 90s minimalist look. So that's what we're tackling today. Now, as you guys may have noticed in the title, I did describe this as budget friendly. I do want to say I am putting in some designer labels into this mix up as a use of examples, but I do want to note specifically that most of my designer labels are thrifted. The idea of this being budget friendly is more the concept that once you know what you're looking for and really kind of learn about the brands that were big in the 90s, it's the easiest way to go to the thrift store and accomplish these looks. Take it from someone who is very much on a budget, but very much enjoys designer, quality, and luxury clothing. First, let's talk about 90s fashion in general. At the beginning of the decade, you had a lot of looks that were very feminine. Towards the end of the decade, you had a lot of looks that were very utilitarian. I think the most important thing to take away from 90s minimalism is understanding muted color tones. Having a muted palette to start off in your wardrobe makes it so easy to accomplish these goals. There are so many good examples. One of my personal favorites, Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, she was top tier, top level of 90s minimalism. I also love Holly Berry's wardrobe. Cameron Diaz is another really good example, Gwyneth Paltrow, and of course any of the top runway models. That was where we really saw in that decade like supermodels. That was where that term was coined. They were really who brought a lot of these trends to the forefront. Brands that I love to think about, Calvin Klein is always top of mind, Levi's for straight like denim, Gap for very affordable looks. I think it's important to remember that 90s minimalism, though very muted, very monochromatic, can still be fun and can still be exciting and different. I think that's forgotten about in the new modern twists that we're seeing in 90s minimalism. The way that we're seeing it produced now is using the terms quiet luxury or stealth wealth, which I've already covered how I feel about that. I don't like using those words. I think 90s minimalism is the best way to describe it because it really is just us pulling inspiration from the 1990s and bringing that into today. Accessories, I think, are the easiest thing to establish because I really think it's just in the shoes and the bags. In this specific video, you will see me use a lot of like pointed toe shoes. I also have some snakeskin boots that I sneak in a couple times, and that's really where I get that like pop of fun. Shoes and handbags are the two accessories that you want to have the most fun with. Makeup was very, again, understated. It was very classic. You did see a lot of overplucked eyebrows, which I'm not going to do that in this video because I already did that once. But ultimately, 90s was just very understated beauty. That was the key to success in that decade. I do just want to say a quick thank you to Merit Beauty. They actually sent me a couple of products to test out. I wasn't quite sure where I was going to talk about Merit Beauty, and then once I started thinking about how much they exude modern minimalism, I was like, oh yeah, they just fit so perfectly in this video. As someone who has struggled very much with eczema on my eyes, I actually don't typically wear a lot of makeup on my eyes. Merit Beauty has so far been the only eye makeup that I've found that I can actually wear and it not irritate my eczema. I am so thankful to have discovered that and be able to incorporate that into my everyday makeup routine. This is the second time now that I've worked with them, and I just can't say enough how much they exude that modern minimalism. So again, thank you to Merit Beauty. I will leave all of the product links down below if you guys want to check out any of their collection. Now let's dive into creating some of these classic looks. These are looks that I rely on when I'm kind of running out the door, and also a couple pieces are some like classic nighttime going out looks. So let's dive into this first look. Now the top is a vintage TSE top. This is perfect because it exudes 90s minimalism because it is from the early 2000s. So it's very on brand for me as far as finding vintage pieces to incorporate into my wardrobe. I think in the 90s, one thing you noticed a lot was no tucking in of the shirt. So a lot of this stuff is going to be very clean lines, and I think that's really how you accomplish that clean line look, is by not tucking in. The skirt is from Quince. This is probably one of my favorite new additions to my wardrobe because I feel like I have relied so much on the slinky dress, which we'll get into that a little bit later. but I oftentimes will layer pieces with a slinky dress, and this skirt has proved to be another great piece to have in my wardrobe for layering. I think with a lot of these looks, you'll notice that pretty much everything is a natural fiber, wool, cashmere, silk. Call it quiet luxury, call it stealth wealth, however you want to present it. The 90s was known for that good quality pieces. For the shoes on this look, I opted for my Vince Camuto boots. Now, these are such a classic piece to have in any wardrobe, so I highly recommend any kind of like knee-high, above or the below the knee boots. Okay, next I want to show you guys a few examples still utilizing the same skirt, because this shows how important it is to start out with a foundation of having these monochromatic looks in your wardrobe. Knowing that you have colors that kind of run together and create a monochromatic look. So think a black t-shirt and black jeans, white t-shirt, white skirt. These looks are going to prove to be almost foolproof. Like, you don't have to put that much of a thought process into it. So with this, because I have a brown skirt, throwing on a brown vest, again, it's just such an easy way to utilize the monochromatic look to your advantage and know and understand that these quality pieces and the color tones being so complementary to each other makes a world of difference in your wardrobe. For this look, I put on a Quince cashmere hoodie and Aritzia Babaton pants. The pants were thrifted, so again, perfect example of just knowing quality, knowing style and cut. And then for the shoes, I really wanted to show an example of using just kind of a fun pop of a shoe, because it can kind of start to feel a little like boring and redundant if you're just going through the same color palette over and over again. I think the shoes, again, is where you can have the most fun with your looks. This next one is probably one of my personal favorite looks because I feel like it is very on trend in today's modern wardrobe. A white button down, this one's by Uniqlo, and a linen skirt, this one's by Brochu Walker. Again, it's thrifted. I do feel like bringing this look into this decade, the easiest way to do it is a pop of red, throwing on my red shoes from Vivaya and my Teddy Blake handbag. This is just the ultimate cool girl pop of red look going on right now. I don't think you would have seen this too much back in the 90s, but I do think sometimes it's important to remember that we're taking hints from the 90s. And then these, again, are such good examples of taking something and just redoing it over and over again. That's the best way to get the most out of your wardrobe. This one I paired with a Lily silk vest. Vests were probably one of the go-to pieces from the 90s. And again, that's a nod for what's going on today. We're seeing a lot of fitted vests. If you guys followed my journey for long enough, you know I've been on the hunt for a really good vest. One of the key lessons that we can get from 90s minimalism and 90s aesthetic is day to night. That was like a big thing. It was a big push. I even remember as a kid reading about it in magazines, how to go from day to night. That was such a big deal in the 90s. This cashmere sweater from Intermix, I think the cut on it is really what takes it from day to night. Has an asymmetrical trim on the hemline, so it just is a perfect piece to just help you transition. And then a long line blazer. Blazers are like my best friend. I cannot have enough long line duster jackets or blazers in my collection. It's something I am forever thrifting and forever looking for, but I do personally think the 90s is what really solidified this in wardrobe history. These next few examples are really good options, again, for day to night. I mean, obviously day to night is so different these days. I think we live in an anything goes era, so saying day to night now is so different from what it used to be. Straight leg denim jeans, again, key to success. These jeans are Levi's, but they're modern day Levi's. So they have that straight leg finish to them, and they have that 100% cotton stiff denim. And the top that I'm wearing is actually the top that I have on right now. It's just a Banana Republic top, again, thrifted. But I think what makes these necklines so interesting is anything off the shoulder, a boat neck, a crew neck, or a square neck. Those were the three necklines that you really saw in the 90s. These next few looks, I think my love for Buffy the Vampire Slayer is really coming out in these looks. I was a huge Buffy fan. Leather pleather pants, to me were like the epitome of 90s fashion. Some people would disagree though. This next look, again, you don't want to tuck in the top. So this one with the Banana Republic, and these are Aritzia Babaton faux leather pants. Thrifted, I might add. This next one is utilizing an H&M blazer jacket. This is a Gillet, so it's something that I think can be worn undone or buttoned up just as a top. The classic slinky dress. There were so many different ways to do this. This is really where you saw the slip dress come through. I have done many videos talking about slip dresses, so you know my love and devotion is real for this concept. This one in particular is from Quince. This is throwing a little bit of color into the wardrobe, so we're kind of switching it up a little bit. So with this, throwing on the blazer, I think kind of gives it that like night out vibe, if that's what you're going for. And then of course, throwing something on over it. No tuck, you don't want to tuck anything in. Slip dresses, man, I could go on and on about them, but instead I'm just gonna link some videos where I already do that. This is easily one of my favorite dresses that I have in my wardrobe. This is a Jenni Kayne dress that I thrifted. Yes, I know. I think in fashion, you can go down the road of having a very minimalist wardrobe, but the important part is knowing the structure of the wardrobe can be unique and different. And again, I think that's something that Carolyn Bessette Kennedy really mastered the art of, is knowing that you can have something minimalist, but it can be interesting. I think it is such an interesting piece, the way that you can cinch in the waist, the way that the sleeves kind of bell out a little bit. It just has a unique shape to it. So kind of wrap this all up, I think the 3 keys to success when it comes to building a good foundation wardrobe like this: knowing what brands to look for, knowing where to find them affordably, or if you do decide to purchase them brand new, knowing that you are going to have a quality item in your wardrobe that's going to stand the test of time. That is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this little breakdown of 90s minimalism fashion. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys are new around here, I might have a couple extra videos for you right here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.